We welcome you to Detroit, Michigan, where tonight the Houston Astros will kick off a three-game series against the Tigers from Comerica Park. It is also the return of one Justin Verlander, who pitched over 250 games, or 183 wins for the Tigers, over 2,500 innings for the Tigers, and helped make his first start in an Astros uniform as a visitor here at Comerica Park. Houston leading Oakland by 2.5 in the AL West. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Blummer, what a series it was in Boston. A lot of high pressure, a lot of intensity. They need to bring that same intensity here to Detroit.
Yeah, that's the hardest part about it. Everything was built up for Fenway Park, the ALCS preview possibly, and now they come here and play a team who's struggling a little bit in the Central, but they've got to maintain that intensity.
It's weird for these Detroit fans to see Justin Verlander wearing an Astros uniform for the first time.
Yeah, it is pretty incredible. This is where Justin Verlander was drafted and developed through the system of the Detroit Tigers, and now he is here in a visiting uniform for the first time. He spent a lot of time here pitching some very big ball games. 5 years he pitched in the playoffs for these for these Detroit Tigers. 2 World Series appearances, so there's a lot of memories here for him. It's got to be tough coming back and wearing that visiting uniform, but the time was right, and it's obviously worked out very well for the Houston Astros. But those first couple of innings, it's going to be a lot to take in for Justin Verlander and the fans to see him in that gray uniform.
He said he's been looking forward to this moment for a long time, and in his 13 years with the Tigers, his numbers overall, those strikeouts are the second most in Tigers history, and a lot of postseason appearances, as you mentioned.
I was going to say the postseason, the development, how he became Justin Verlander was right here, but the accolades come along with it. There's a long history, but as we know in baseball, the evolution of it means you got to go where the paycheck is gone, and it's in Houston right now.
13 years as a Tiger, and now his first start against them at Comerica Park. We will have more as we roll on a Monday night from Detroit right after this. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. And by Buick. Visit your local Buick dealer. Astros and Tigers kick off a 3-game series. We'll reflect back on an incredible trio of games in Boston when Julian Morales joins us next.
Astros find themselves in Detroit, Michigan for the second half of this road trip. They've had such a great start to the month of September, though. They look to keep that rolling, and a great start to this road trip. It started in Boston against the first-place Red Sox, and there the Astros showed why they are the team to beat in the American League. Maybe a preview of something to come in the postseason. Our Toyota Get On Play looks back at that series. Some of the good things for the Astros we saw. They won 2 out of 3, and we saw some good offense continue from the usual suspects in Alex Bregman hitting the 30 home run mark there at Fenway Park. And of course, the celebrations continue as well. Tyler White came up with some clutch hits also, and we also saw great defense. These guys playing in a tough center field, tough outfield. Jake Marisnick coming through to really change the way that game could have gone. And then the bullpen. Bullpen, the Red Sox for sure. Josh James, the rookie, with some big innings and some big games. So they feel pretty good about what they've accomplished, and they cannot have a letdown today as they enter a series of the Detroit Tigers, who are a struggling team, but they do have Justin Verlander on the mound. So for now, the Astros, this is why they can't let up. They are in a tight AL West race right now, only 2.5 games up over them, and this is what's left for both of these teams. The Astros with 19 games left, 18 for the A's. Home and road, Astros have about the same for each. Strength of schedule, though, I want you to look at that. 473, little tougher for the A's. They're going to have to play the Tampa Bay Rays in there. Of course, a team that is trying to make the playoffs as well. So it'll be fun to see how all of this plays out. But again, these games, guys, down the stretch, they're all important for the Houston Astros as they eye back-to-back division titles. TK?
Yeah, right now the difference is 2.5 games. And Blummer, that was a huge series because Oakland was sweeping their set against Texas. The Astros needed to fare well against the Red Sox.
Yeah, they did a good job of maybe sending a message to those Oakland A's saying, hey, we're not going to back down just because we're playing against the Boston Red Sox, and they played well.
Astros starting lineup is presented by Southwest Airlines, with George Springer leading things off, followed by Jose Altuve. Alex Bregman hits third. Tyler White is at first base batting cleanup. Carlos Correa is short. Marwin Gonzalez hits 6. Evan Gattis DHs today. Martin Maldonado behind the plate, and Jake Marisnick in center.
Lefty Liriano on the mound, ex-Astro, got himself a ring last year. In the process, 4-9 on the season in 22 starts. It's not a very good strikeout to walk ratio.
A lot of walks this year.
Highest rate per 9 innings in all of baseball.
5.1 walks per 9.
And in the past, he used to be a guy that struck out a lot, but this year, as Plummer mentioned, with that strikeout to walk ratio, only 87 strikeouts in 112 innings. We're underway on a Monday night, a little earlier start than normal here in Detroit. They have a football game going on as part of the Monday night football experience. A couple of games on opening week on Monday night. So tonight, a 6:10 local, 5:10 central start. Glad he could join us for the first of three between the Tigers and the Astros. A lot of Justin Verlander shirts, as you would imagine, in attendance here at Comerica. Springer with a swinging strike. It's 2-2. George riding a 5-game hitting streak. He's 10 for 23 during the stretch. Has that batting average up to 261. Astros playing the Sunday night game last night and flying into Detroit, arriving to the hotel shortly after 4 o'clock in the morning.
For Sunday night baseball being such an honor and a tradition, it can thoroughly be a pain to go through that travel process being on that Sunday night game.
Quick turnaround tonight with the earlier start as well. After playing in front of sellout crowds for the 3 games at Fenway, and it really felt like a playoff atmosphere. As we mentioned just a few minutes ago, Astros have to keep that same attitude going here at Comerica with a little lighter crowd here on a Monday. And obviously the Tigers are not playing for anything in the Central at this point. Giving their kids a chance, though. See a lot of young potential future stars for the Tigers in this series. And a swing and a foul tip caught by James McCann for the first out. George Springer goes out on strikes.
A lot of pitches thrown in that AB against George Springer. And the 8th one on our MD Anderson strike zone. Dives out of the zone down. Good pitch by Liriano to get the strikeout.
Liriano has fared much better this year and throughout his career against lefties than he has against righties. Here's Jose Altuve. He put one over the monster last night, part of a 2-for-5 game. Altuve grounds one back to Liriano on one hop, who fires the first for the second out of the inning. Defensively behind Liriano today, Kristen Stewart making his first major league start. He's in left field. Jacoby Jones is in center. Nick Castellanos 10 outfield assists in right field. Jamer Candelario and Ronnie Rodriguez on the left side. Dawel Lugo and Nico Goodrum on the right side, and James McCann behind the plate. Here's Alex Bregman. Bregman with another double in last night's game. It was a little flare double, but put him at 49 for the season. Comes in with more extra base hits than anybody in baseball, and he is riding a streak of 7 consecutive games where he's been on base at least 2 times. And he's ahead of the count here, 2-0.
Liriano still pretty good velocity, averaging 92 miles an hour on his fastball. He is a 3-pitch pitcher with a fastball, slider, and changeup.
Well, misses again to Bregman. It's 3-0. Four-pitch walk, and Alex Bregman continues his on-base streak. That's now 37 straight games.
No Player Does More is presented by HEB. It's Alex Bregman and Tyler White, the Meg. Hey, Breg and the Meg. It's not a bad tandem going on right now in that Red Sox series. They combined for 6 extra base hits at slugging percentage at .810. Their on-base percentage at .519. Tyler White continuing to stay hot. help out this lineup, and he's worked himself into the middle part of this lineup now for the Houston Astros, hitting ahead of Carlos Correa in this 4th spot.
Takes a strike on the edge to start this at bat. His numbers since the All-Star break are pretty phenomenal. And now in his 50th game, he is putting up numbers that only a few others have had after 50 games, and those others are all MVP type candidates. White fouls one back. It's 0-2. Mookie Betts, JD Martinez, Mike Trout, Manny Machado in the first 50 games of the season. And then Tyler White in terms of OPS. And a breaking ball for a called 3rd strike. White goes down looking a couple of strikeouts in the first for Francisco Liriano. Justin Verlander will be on the mound as an Astro in Comerica Park. August 20th, 2017, as a Tiger facing the Los Angeles Dodgers, and tonight he returned to a standing ovation as a visiting pitcher at Comerica Park for the first time in his career.
Numbers on the season for Justin Verlander: 248 strikeouts on the season. Back in 2004, he was that 2nd overall pick by the Tigers. Pitched earlier in the season against these Tigers, and it didn't go exactly well. Gave up 4 home runs, yet he struck out 12.
For a guy who's 35 years old and has done just about everything in this game to warrant Hall of Fame consideration, he's probably got a few butterflies tonight, pitching back here for the first time as a visitor. And his first pitch is swung on and fouled back. Lineup for the Tigers with Jeimer Candelario leading off, followed by Kristen Stewart making his first big league start. Nick Castellanos has had a great year for the Tigers. Victor Martinez, Nico Goodrum, Ronnie Rodriguez, James McCann, Dawel Lugo, and Jacoby Jones. Down and into the 24-year-old Candelario, who got Justin for one of those 4 home runs, matching his career high. This time he swings over the breaking ball. It's 1-2. 8th all-time in Tigers history in innings pitched, 7th all-time in wins, 5th all-time in starts as a Tiger, and 2nd behind Mickey Lolich in strikeouts. Verlander during the last homestand and then on this road trip, discussing throughout the last couple of weeks how much he was looking forward to this start. 13 years is a long time with one organization.
This day and age, it's incredible. And he's also had some good times on this mound here at Comerica in his career. 97 and 50 with a 3.20. He is a fly ball pitcher, which makes Comerica Park very comfortable for him to pitch in because there's such a vast outfield to cover here.
Swing and a miss. He starts this game off with a strikeout in his return to Detroit.
Good fastball. Throws a lot of them. Throws a lot of them for strikes, too.
And here is Kristen Stewart, young 24-year-old outfielder. Just his second major league at bat, came on as a pinch hitter in his major league debut.
Strikeout pitch on our Mattress Firm Supermo shows you the four-seamer. Tough to catch up to at 96.
And the young outfielder Stewart behind 0-2. Big numbers in the minor leagues for home runs. 23 home runs at AAA Toledo for Stewart. Just misses the edge. It's 1-2. Verlander had a big group of Tigers fans waiting for him beyond the bullpen in left field when he was warming up prior to this game. And they did a video tribute for him just a few minutes before the first pitch. Stewart into center field. That'll send Marisnick back. Still going back. Jake makes the catch on the run. Jake never broke stride, going deep into left center field to make that catch.
Yeah, a little bit different here than it is at Minute Maid Park and at Fenway. Those walls don't get close to you for a while. Jake just able to put his head down, go to a spot that he thinks he's going to be at, pick the ball up again and make the catch. But you put Jake, it's like having just a wild horse in an open field tracking down baseballs out there.
And JV appreciates having that guy in the middle of his outfield. Here's Nicholas Castellanos. Castellanos swings through the first pitch. During this season, which has been a disappointment for the Tigers, Castellanos has been a beacon in the offense. Leads the team in home runs, leads the team in doubles, RBIs, runs scored. He's at the top of all of those lists for the Tigers as he takes one inside. 20 home runs for the second straight year. Misses the slider. It's 1-2.
Seen a couple of good sliders early on from Justin Verlander.
Verlander getting ahead of the counts in this first inning. 9 strikes of his 13 pitches. This ball's hit over the head of Alex Bregman down the left field line. Castellanos heads to second, and he will get there with a 2-out double.
Good professional batting by Nick Castellanos in a season where wins have been hard to come by for the Detroit Tigers. Nick continues to go out there and get his hits. Just sneaking that one over the leaping Alex Bregman.
Well, here's Victor Martinez. Victor not only has the most at bats in this lineup against Justin Verlander. He has 46 at bats. The rest of the lineup, nobody else had more than 3. Foul ball back to the screen.
Victor playing a lot of his career with the Cleveland Indians in the same division against Justin.
"13 at bats for the rest of the lineup, 46 for Victor.
Reasonable success.
Yeah.
283 against him, 9 RBIs.
4 bombs. This one is sent high in the air on the infield. The pop-up is playable for Carlos Correa, who puts it away for the final out. So Justin Verlander, in his return to Detroit, gets some help from Jake and a scoreless first.
Time to check out today's Chevy Stroll poll. Get on Twitter, follow us at ATT Sportsnet SW, and vote on our poll. Which milestone the Astros are either approaching or have achieved is the most impressive? Is it Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole with their 500 strikeouts, or Alex Bregman with the 30, 50 doubles and 100 RBI, or the 102 road wins that they've collected between 2017 and 2018? Vote. We'll let you know which one of these wins later in the game. TK?
All right, Julia. Carlos Correa takes a called strike to start the second inning. Be Correa, Marwin Gonzalez, and Evan Gattis. Astros taking 2 out of 3 in Boston with 49 road wins now. And a chance to get their 50th tonight. They still have the best road record in all of baseball. And Boston, despite losing 2 of 3 in that series, still have the best home record in all of baseball. Breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2. Carlos with better numbers this season on the road than at home. 242 overall, 294 on the road, but he goes down swinging here. And Francisco Liriano, who has a season high of 8 strikeouts, has 3 strikeouts of the first 4 outs tonight.
Houston Methodist is going to bring us your league leaders. Most road wins over a 2-year span. The Astros right behind the early 2000s Seattle Mariners, racking up all kinds of wins. Not many in the postseason, but during the regular season they were tearing it up. The Astros just behind them by a couple of wins to tie that 104 record between 2017 and 18.
10 games to get it done as Marwin sends one into center field. Jacoby Jones drifts back to his right, puts it away for out number 2. In the battle of the best pitching staff versus the best offense at Fenway Park, the Astros won the first 2 games and came back on the Red Sox down 5-1 to make it a 5-5 game last night before losing 6-5 in walk-off fashion in the bottom half of the 9th. Here's Evan Gattis. Gattis getting his start today. Ely Gurriel the day off, so Tyler White moves over to first and Gaddis gets to DH. Been a little harder to find Evan consistent at bats with as hot as Tyler White's been. Evan is 3 for 7 with a couple of doubles against Liriano. Liriano appeared in 20 regular season games for the Astros last year. Acquired at the trade deadline, and then 5 games in the postseason, including games 6 and 7 of the World Series. This is inside to Gaddis is 3-1. Outside, ball 4, and there's another walk. Both of the Astros base runners have been 2-out walks issued by Liriano. Always has a low batting average against and always has struggled with walks per 9 throughout his career.
So far he's on pace for 9 if he goes a complete game.
All of them 2-out walks with the bases empty. Now facing Martin Maldonado. Maldonado started the first 2 games of that series in Boston, then came on defensively in the 8th inning of last night's game. Made a couple of huge blocks of potential wild pitches while he was in there in the final 2 innings. That ball's hit hard, but gloved by the third baseman Candelario. Nice leaping catch by Jeimer Candelario, and that'll do it for the Astros in the second. Was honored with a video tribute here at Comerica Park as he was walking in from the bullpen. His bullpen mates giving him fist bumps on the way by, and then Justin got to watch and soak it all in. It was a nice job done by the staff here at Comerica Park.
13 years, long time to be loyal to one organization.
How young he was.
Young number 59.
First pitch of the second inning issued by Verlander, sent into right field for a base hit. Nico Goodrum has a leadoff double to start the second. A couple of doubles allowed by JV of the first 5 hitters.
They hit him pretty hard last time, but you get a young group of hitters against a guy who throws a lot of fastballs. They are going to get it ready early. That one missing its spot, middle down. We talk about that left-handed swing, just a natural sensation as a left-handed hitter to recognize and drop the barrel on it.
Now here's Ronnie Rodriguez. Rodriguez making his big league debut earlier this season on the final day of May. The 26-year-old was having a big season in AAA this year. Numbers not quite the same at the big league level. He was hitting .338 for Toledo, but just .219 with the Tigers. Gets him to chase there. It's 0-2. Verlander with the late start last night flew ahead of the team, and he was here in the Detroit area all day yesterday getting ready for the start. Justin continues to pound the strike zone against his former team. 16 pitches of the first 20 strikes. Doesn't get the chase there. It's 1-2. Verlander on the cusp of a 250 strikeout season. Join his teammate Garrett Cole in that category. Trying to become the 5th tandem to have 250 strikeouts in the same season as teammates. Here's a soft line drive, smothered and off the glove of Tyler White. That's going to end up being a base hit. As Rodriguez just reached out and poked one towards first for an infield single.
Pretty good job defending a tough pitch down and away. And even if the play was made, it would have been an effective AB moving that runner to third base. But off the end of the bat, kind of like a swinging changeup and moving away from Tyler White, made it tough for him to decide whether or not he was going to catch it standing up or diving. And he got caught in between and ricocheted off his wrist.
So now 1st and 3rd with nobody out. And Verlander will face James McCann. McCann misses 96 to start this at bat. .68% first pitch strike, not only 7th highest in baseball, it is by far the highest in his career. Strikeouts per 9 at their highest, walks per 9 at their lowest. Justin has attacked the zone with regularity this year. Ahead of McCann, 0-2. Tigers with a double and an infield single in this inning. Swing and a miss, gets him with the slider. That's a big strikeout for Verlander. McCann goes down. That's 250 strikeouts on the year for JV. He and Garrett Cole become the 5th tandem as teammates to reach that plateau in Major League history. Nice group to join.
No doubt about it. Some large strikeout numbers between teammates, and now Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander being added to that list. Little turbo slider breaking down and away. He's had some good ones early on this evening.
Out to Lugo, who fouls one back. 23-year-old second baseman made his big league debut at the end of June. Verlander's career high in strikeouts is 269. Did that in the 2009 season with the Tigers. And he's reached 250 for the 4th time in his career. Also 2011 when he won Cy Young and MVP that year. In 2016 he struck out 254. First 8 batters have all seen a first pitch strike today from Justin Verlander. Lugo, base hit to left, will score the first run. Doel Lugo with an RBI single, scoring Nico Goodrum, and the Tigers in front 1-0.
The slider is good when it's breaking down and away from the right-handed hitter, but when it starts to mix right through the middle part of the zone, young hitters can take advantage of it. That's exactly what Lugo did, raking it into left field.
Here's Jacoby Jones. Jones hits one hard at Bregman, caught in the air in a double play. They double up Rodriguez off second base. That ball was roped, but at the Astros third baseman to end the inning. Tigers lead 1-0.
EMC. Jake Marisnick and Josh Reddick, 18 outs above average in the outfield. All four of the team's five-star catches have been accomplished by these guys. We saw a couple of them in that Fenway series. Josh laying out against J.D. Martinez, taking away a big hit. None bigger than that one that we just saw from Jake Marisnick going into that left center field wall with the bases loaded.
Get the job done at Fenway, and Jake had a nice catch in the first inning of this game. And he will lead off the third inning as the number 9 hitter in the Astros lineup. So far, the Astros without a hit, a couple of walks against Francisco Liriano. Jake came on in last night's game as a pinch runner. Overall, in his last 20 starts, going back to before the disabled list stint, Jake batting .300 with a .969 OPS. Grounds one foul. Down to the count 1-2. Justin Verlander giving up a run in the second inning. And it could have been worse. A line drive by Jacoby Jones caught by Alex Bregman, one of the hardest hit balls of the night. Bregman turned it into a double play. Jake goes down swinging, and Francisco Liriano now with 4 strikeouts in this game of his first 7 outs. I'll bring up George Springer. George struck out his first time up. Liriano faced the Astros back in July on the 15th at Minute Maid Park. Only lasted 3 innings. Walked 3, struck out 3, allowed 1 run on 1 hit. Overall against Houston, he is making his 5th career start, and he's 2-1 with a 4.37. Contrasting styles with these two starters. You've got Justin Verlander, who always is commanding the strike zone, and you've got Liriano, who his big Achilles heel is his inability to throw strikes consistently. All 4, third time he has walked a batter, 1 in every inning, and that's all 3 of the Astros base runners tonight. Come out to Minute Maid Park this Friday night for Friday Night Fireworks presented by Occidental Petroleum. The best fireworks show in town will be synced to reggaeton theme music. Visit astros.com/Friday nights for tickets. Here's Jose Altuve. He bounced back to the mound his first time up. Altuve last night hitting his 11th home run of the season. Part of a 2-hit night. He has hit it 4 straight games after snapping it 0 for 19. That helped get the Astros back. That was their first part of their comeback, down 5-1. That made it 5-2. The Astros would tie it at 5 before losing 6-5. Altuve grounds one towards short. Rodriguez has it, bobbles it, and everybody's going to be safe. Ronnie Rodriguez looked like he was going to at least get 1 out in that situation. Instead, it's 1st and 2nd with 1 away.
Ball was hit pretty hard by Jose Altuve. And Rodriguez, trying to field that in front of him, ended up getting his hands in a bad spot. You want to field that on the left side of your body if you can, but being on the right side kind of extends that glove hand to that right side and didn't hit him in the pocket where he wanted it.
That'll be a fielder's choice and an error on the shortstop.
And as a young player, knowing that you have Altuve hit you a hard ground ball, you probably get a little excited trying to turn that double play, but they have a chance again here.
To Hopper to third. Bregman's going to beat the relay throw. The Astros will have first and third. The Astros hit into a lot of double plays this year, and they've almost hit into 2 different double plays in this inning. That one was slowly developing on the third to second to first around the horn double play, and Bregman able to beat the relay throw. So runners on first and third with 2 outs, and Tyler White.
That was not one of the quicker turns I've seen at second base.
White struck out looking his first time up. Takes a pitch for a ball. Astros still don't have a hit in this game, but they're threatening to score their first run. Low strike called on Tyler. It's 1-1. Liriano in his last start picked up a win at Chicago. It was his first win since April. Gets through, coming home to try and score, and he will. George Springer ties the game on a ball that gets to the backstop. It is 1-1. It's going to be ruled a wild pitch.
Good for the Astros. They haven't gotten too many pitches to square up off Liriano. So it takes a couple of ground balls, an error, and a wild pitch to get that first run across for the Houston Astros.
Even though that is ruled a wild pitch accurately since it bounced in the dirt, that's one you'd like to see your catcher smother. He's got through the 5-hole on McCann. And now Tyler White with a 3-1 count. Three walks, 4 strikeouts in this game. The Astros have a run on the board without a hit so far in the first 3 innings. Up back through the middle, past second base into center field. Bregman will score. The Astros take a 2-1 lead on Tyler White with an RBI base hit.
There we go. The Astros on the board with that first knock. Great White driving in that second run for the Houston Astros. Got to give these guys a little bit of a break. It was a long night last night, early morning today. Might take him a little bit to get things going, but Tyler White sneaking that one back up the middle with the seeing eye single. Alex will score easy.
I'll bring up Carlos Correa. Carlos grounds one towards the hole. This time Rodriguez makes the long throw. It's wide. Correa's going to be safe. And the Astros inning continues.
Good to see Carlos aggressive early on. A little bit of a rollover, but he puts it to the right of the shortstop Rodriguez, and plenty of time for him to beat that out. But Carlos has really had to earn some of these hits recently.
That will be an infield hit. If you're Francisco Liriano right now, you're a little frustrated. You haven't seen much hard contact in this inning. The Astros in front 2-1 and still threatening for more. He's put the ball on the ground, which is what he is doing when things are going well. One of them was an error. The other one bounced its way into the outfield. And Carlos Correa was in the right spot in deep shortstop. Now bring up Marwin. Marwin flied out to center his first time up. Marwin has a hitting streak going in road games. He's hit an 8 straight on the road with 5 home runs in those 8 games.
Last night, Marwin got into the action also, raking a home run off of Rick Porcello down that right field line, hooking around that pesky pole at Fenway. Plenty of distance down that right field line to get deep into the seats.
New celebration too.
Yeah, you got to bounce with it sometimes.
Down and in, it's 1-2. Still had it timed up for the stare. Now this dugout in Detroit gives you all kinds of options. You put on like a full play down there, as big as that dugout is.
It is ginormous in comparison to Fenway.
You have a front stage, a backstage. They can really get creative here.
Yeah, you get a good idea who your friends are when you get into dugouts this size. Really create some separation.
Nobody near JV. It's his zone.
He'll probably stare you down if you get near him.
Softly hit, left center field, falling quickly. That'll be a base hit. In to score, Tyler White. Going to third base, Correa. RBI for Marwin. And it's now a 3-1 lead. This has been a dink and dunk inning, but it's working for the Astros.
Considering how they must feel after that travel night last night, this is high exit velocity.
Crushed it.
Got blown up, but it's beautifully placed out there in center field for a base hit and an RBI.
Now bring up Evan Gattis. He walked his first time up. Evans swings the first pitch and pops it high in the air, shallow left field. Out goes Rodriguez. In comes Stewart. It's Stewart who makes the play for the final out. But the Astros score 3 in the inning on 3 hits.
It's going to fall on Justin Verlander. Number 35 for the Houston Astros now, 10 starts. Since being acquired in 2017, this includes the postseason. 9-1 record, a 1.66 ERA. The opponent batting average just under that. You can't get enough of that Todd Frazier swing against that curveball in that ALCS, but it was a strong acquisition by the Houston Astros. They passed at the trade deadline, but eventually at that waiver deadline on August 31st, pulled the trigger, and great things happened since then.
Now he's working with a lead for the first time tonight as he faces Jeimer Candelario to start this inning. Top of the order for the Tigers. Tigers scored 1 in the second, and Justin was fortunate it was just 1. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Astros probably feel fortunate to have been able to score 3 in that last inning. They were all unearned runs, aided by the shortstop Ronnie Rodriguez.
And it's only fitting that they're unearned, because Liriano made some decent pitches, but it was, like you said, it was wild pitches, errors, drop shots. There really wasn't much damage being done against Liriano, so it kind of worked out well for Liriano and the Houston Astros. They take the lead, but Liriano's ERA doesn't take the hit.
And if you're Justin, you feel like you've been pitching okay, but he hasn't been really as strong in the first time through the lineup as he would like. He's allowed 4 hits. Jake had to run a ball down in deep center field. There was a line drive right at Alex Bregman. Those are 2 of the 6 outs right there, or 3 of the 6 outs, because the Bregman's line drive turned into a double play. Called third strike. He gets Candelario. Second time he has struck out Jeimer, and that's the first out of the third. Well, Verlander moving up the list as he passes his teammate Garrett Cole. 251 strikeouts. Only 4 Astros pitchers in their history have struck out more than Verlander or Cole. Swinging a foul back off the bat of Stewart. Kristen Stewart hit that deep fly ball to center field his first time up that Jake Marisnick tracked down. Down to the count 0-2. He was down in the count last time 0-2. Verlander continues to get first pitch strikes on a consistent basis. Pitch called third strike. Now Verlander takes over the lead in strikeouts from Garrett Cole with strikeout number 252 on the year. And 4 in this game.
Dropped the hammer on Kristen Stewart. Only his 3rd big league AB, and he's got 2 against Verlander. You talked about the great play in center field that Marisnick had to make on the first one, but right here, frozen on the curveball. Not too many guys in AAA have the ability to throw that over-the-top breaking ball. It was a good one from Justin.
Here's a pitch to Castellanos outside for ball 1. Only does Verlander take over the strikeout lead. It seems like every start Verlander Cole go back and forth, but now as a tandem, Justin Verlander and Garrett Cole have matched an Astros franchise record set by Nolan Ryan and Mike Scott. This ball sent high and deep to right field, but playable. George in front of the warning track makes the play for the final out of the inning. Strong third for Justin with 2 strikeouts.
Sportsnet app from iTunes or Google Play, or visit attsportsnet.com to stream on your computer. Log in with your cable account and you're all set. Available for those with AT&T Sportsnet in their TV subscription. Blackouts and territorial restrictions apply. TK?
All right, Julie, on we go to the fourth. Martin Maldonado, the only one in the Astros lineup that did not hit last inning, will lead things off. Astros sending 8 to the plate against Francisco Liriano. Managed 3 hits. Not a lot of well-struck baseballs, but in the right spots, and helped out with an error to score 3 unearned runs. Maldonado lined out to third on a nice catch by Candelario, his first time up. This time he grounds one to Candelario. Hamer makes the play for out number 1. Astros starting the night leading Oakland by 2.5 games. The A's have the night off tonight. So that lead will either climb to 3 or drop down to 2. A.J. Hinch's team winning 2 out of 3 in Boston. Only lost a game. They did lose a game even though they won 2 out of 3 because Oakland was sweeping Texas at the same time. Jake Marisnick takes one away. Astros right now with that lead at 2.5. Might be difficult to imagine them able to clinch on that next homestand. Still a possibility. What they might be able to clinch on the homestand more realistically is a playoff berth. Marisnick down in the count 1-2. Both Tampa Bay and Seattle right now with 64 losses, which means they can only max out at 98 wins if they run the table. The Astros' magic number for clinching a playoff berth would be 10 at this point. Jake goes down swinging. Liriano now with 5 strikeouts. He's got Marisnick twice.
Been a steady diet of off speed from Liriano to Jake Marisnick. Numbers really jump against Liriano that third time through the order. Batting average against him goes from 230 in the first inning to 330 third time through.
We'll see if George can start that trend. He walked after striking out his first time up. George scored the first run on a wild pitch. Astros got their runs in the third inning on a wild pitch to tie the game. A chopper past Liriano and past the second baseman Lugo into center field. And then a little flare base hit by Marwin Gonzalez. Springer takes a strike on the inner half. It's 1-2.
There you go. First, second, third times through the lineup. Right now, starting that third time through with George, the average jumps to 330 against Liriano.
Because of that stat, he rarely throws more than 5 innings in a start. Last time he threw more than 5 innings was back on July 4th against the Cubs on the road. Went 5 1/3 in a start against the Cubs on August 22nd. That's his longest start since the 4th of July. All in the right field. Castellanos is there, and Liriano has a 1-2-3-4. 3-1. 3 hits and 3 runs all coming across in the third inning. Justin Verlander with a strong shutdown 1-2-3 third after his team gave him a 3-1 lead against his former team. JV trying to have a better game today against this Tigers squad than he did last time when he gave up 6 runs, 5 earned in 6 innings. 4 home runs allowed in that game.
Heavy shift being played against Victor. Statcast AI powered by AWS tells you why. Even up the middle, not a very high percentage. Therefore, you see Jose Altuve in shallow right field and Carlos playing that second base position.
Victor, who's been here since the 2011 season. A little tip of the cap to Justin Verlander before his first at bat. Ended up popping up to shortstop. Strike called. JV ahead 1-2 on his former teammate. It'll be Victor, Nico Goodrum, and Ronnie Rodriguez. These two guys, Victor Martinez and Justin Verlander, went to the postseason 4 straight years from Victor's first year. He was injured in 2012, but his team reached the postseason again that year. Then in 13 and 14. .43 pitches tonight for JV, and Verlander has thrown 34 strikes. On the ground, a couple of big hops for Tyler White, who will flip to Justin covering for the first out.
And with that high of a percentage of strikes inside the zone, this is going to sound terrible, but it tells me that he really doesn't fear these guys. He's just going to come right after them, try and get ahead early and put them away.
I would say the same. I don't think it sounds terrible. I think it's accurate, because I think the same thing happened in his first start against the Tigers, where he gave up 4 home runs. He pounded the zone in that game, struck out 12, only threw 91 pitches, but you're going to get ambushed a little bit too when you're that much in the zone, and that's what happened, I think, before the All-Star break.
Different ballpark too.
Yes, that helped, because this is a team that doesn't hit home runs, the Tigers.
Yeah, 122 coming in.
That's last in the American League and 29th in all of baseball, but they got him for 4 in that start on July 15th. It was a really unusual game.
I don't remember much of it. I might have been a couple deep and hanging out with the family.
You're on your pre-All-Star break. This ball is hit high in the air, pretty deep to right, but Springer seems to have a beat on it, and he does as he eases back on the warning track for out number 2. Well, all of a sudden, after that RBI base hit by Lugo, Justin has retired the next 6. I think that double play to get him out of the second inning might end up being a big play in this game.
No, I completely agree, because off the bat, I'm sure Justin was like, oh man, here we go. This ball's going to get into left field. But luckily right at Alex, and he was able to get the runner off at second base. Turn things around real quick.
Starts off Ronnie Rodriguez with a strike. Rodriguez got down on the count last time 0-2 and just punched the ball that short hop Tyler White on a dive, and he was able to reach on an infield hit. He's down 0-2 again.
Wow. And the hard hit rate overall pretty low for the Texas Rangers at 33%.
Swing and a miss. Verlander on 3 pitches gets Rodriguez. Strikeout number 5 for Verlander. And he's retired 7 in a row. AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Rooms to Go, where you'll save even more when you buy the whole room, and delivery is fast and easy. And by Nissan, innovation that excites. And by Karbach Brewing, crack open a cold one, crack open a Karbach, proudly brewed in Texas. Merry-go-round, one of the unique features here at Comerica Park, featuring a lot of Tigers. Tigers trail 3-1 as we head to the 5th inning. Jose Altuve will lead things off for the Astros. Altuve reached on a fielder's choice and an error his last time. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Altuve around a bunt, pushes one first base side. Nobody covering the bag, and that's an easy base hit for Jose Altuve. Now a 5-game hitting streak with that bunt single.
What a perfectly executed push bunt. Left-hander on the mound, falling off towards that third base line. Opens up that space to his left, right in front of the first baseman, and you couldn't have rolled that out there any better.
That's back-to-back games with a bunt hit for Altuve.
New guy.
Bunted one down the third base line last night for a hit. Here's Alex Bregman. When Bregman walked his first time up, not only did he continue his current streak of reaching in 37 straight games, but he also improved his road streak to 49 games in a row that he has reached base on the road. He is now just 2 shy of tying the Astros franchise record set by Jeff Bagwell. Swings and sends one high in the air to right field. Playable for Castellanos. Puts it away for out number 1. Tyler White to Julia.
Hey, Todd. Yeah, talking to Tyler White, we've had a lot of good conversation with him being on fire since the All-Star break. But one of the things recently he talked about was hitters mimicking other hitters, maybe guys they like to look up to. We've seen that with Altuve and Miguel Cabrera. And he said, you know, that's really hard to do. I absolutely love watching Miggy hit, except for he hits the ball a lot further than I do. He said the only one I've ever really mimicked in my career, tried to hit like, was Manny Ramirez back when I struggled in college. Other than that, Tyler has just found a way to find his own strengths, and it's for him, it's been all about preparing here lately, TK.
His swing looks incredibly strong and solid ever since he got called up that last time, and he's putting up numbers, as we said the first time up, that are kind of mirroring guys that are going for an MVP now in a shorter sample size for Tyler, but still Incredible numbers in his first 50 games this season. Another couple of doubles in last night's game. Tonight he's 1 for 2 with an RBI single through the middle.
He's also been the guy where you kind of felt like there was no hope, and he would come through with a big hit and get things going.
And so much of the damage he's done has been late in games. Players with at least 150 plate appearances. You have Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, and JD Martinez top 3 in OPS, and then Tyler White is 4th. And he's going to add to that with a little bump to the on-base percentage with that 4-pitch walk. Every inning, but last inning, Liriano has walked a batter. That's now 4 in the game. I'll bring up Carlos Correa. Correa reached on an infield single, also struck out.
It's tough when you're facing a guy like Liriano. You want to be aggressive on the fastball, but the command is such an issue that you've got to make real sure it's a good pitch to hit. But we've seen recently, especially this month of September, where Carlos is taking a high percentage of fastballs for strikes. 21% higher. And granted, it's a small sample size. It's only September 10th, but this month of September, we've seen Carlos really passive on the fastball in the zone.
Yeah, like you said, against a guy like Liriano, it's tough sometimes to zone him up, but at times we've seen hitters count takes.
Yeah.
And that can be frustrating for a run producer like Carlos. This one way outside. It's 1-1.
And the takeaway for me is that when you're taking fastballs in the zone early in counts, tells me you're not looking for them, because if you're hunting a fastball and it's in the strike zone, you have a tendency to swing at it because the brain says that pitch is straight, it's hard, go after it. And we haven't seen that from Carlos. But it was great last AB. It was an infield hit, but he was aggressive on the fastball early, and it ended up being a knock.
And we recently have seen him move from the 4 to 5 spot in A.J. Hinch's lineup, and I think we have seen a little more aggressiveness since he's been moved down in that slot. You know, at some point, if he starts getting rolling, I think A.J. would be happy to put him back in that 4 spot. But right now, Carlos, since coming off the DL, carrying a 170 batting average into today's game since that disabled list stint.
And it's been quite a few ABs. It'd be one thing if it was 25, 40, maybe 50 at-bats or plate appearances where you'd say, okay, that's just, there's not enough for you to see. But he's been hitting in a lot of games. There's been plenty of ABs and plate appearances being racked up.
Goes down on the breaking ball here. Liriano picking up strikeout number 6 for the second out of the inning.
But Carlos is another guy who could just absolutely snap out of it and carry the ball club the rest of the way, too.
This is his 27th game back from the DL, and we've seen Springer come back strong from the DL. Altuve at times has been himself, at times has been struggling. And I think Carlos will admit the same thing, that he has not quite been himself consistently like he'd like to be since coming back from the disabled list. Now here's Marwin. Marwin blooped in a single his last time up. It proved to be an RBI and gave the Astros a 3-1 lead. If you dissect this game by Liriano, he's really deserved much better than what we have seen. His fate has been a bit unlucky tonight. Obviously the walks are self-imposed damage, and he's issued 4 of those. But an error, the little chopping hit by Tyler White through the middle, the Carlos Correa ground ball into the hole at short that was a hit, Marwin's pop fly that fell in between left field and center field, and Altuve with a little push bunt base hit. Those are the 4 hits allowed by Liriano, and he's on the wrong end of a 3-1 game. This ball's hit hard, but towards the second baseman, and that'll do it as Lugo puts it away for the final out of the inning. 2 left on, halfway home, 3-1 Astros.
We welcome you back to Detroit, where Justin Verlander returns to the mound with a lead here at Comerica Park. And he said he was very excited to get back to Detroit for the very first time since being traded over to the Astros and facing his old team. He actually talked to Chris Sale about that during the All-Star game, saying it's really weird facing your old teammate in that way and having that interesting start against them early in the year. Chris Sale said, yeah, I gave up 7 earned runs when I faced the White Sox for the very first time. So they had something to talk about there, very in common. But guys, for Justin to be so emotional before today's game, it makes a lot of sense when you hear him talk about his time here in Detroit and the things that really stand out to him and that will stick with him forever, including just coming when Miguel Cabrera came over here and watching him start to really build a fan base here and become a Hall of Fame player. Justin sat along right beside him and watched that happen, something he'll always remember. And he said, doing those interviews on the field after throwing a no-hitter and being able to reach out to my fans, that's where that relationship really grew and will stay with him for as long as he lives, something he'll remember, guys.
A lot of years here as he gets a pop-up from his former battery mate James McCann, caught by Altuve for the first out of the 5th inning. Most of the jerseys we see below us here, and there's some scattered, there's a Cabrera here and there, and there's a K-line, but it's almost all Justin Verlander jerseys behind home plate.
This day and age, to be able to stick with the ball club for 13 years is remarkable. It's a credit to the organization. It's a credit to the player.
Doel Lugo takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. Lugo with a base hit his last time up, and that's the last base runner for the Tigers. Verlander has retired the last 8. And that first pitch ball to Lugo was only the 10th pitch out of the strike zone. Now the 11th out of the strike zone from Verlander tonight of his 54 pitches. I think he's happy and more comfortable on this mound than probably any other mound he's ever pitched on, as he's been here for more starts than any other place by far in his career. It's now 3-0 as he's fallen behind Lugo.
Yeah, what now? 188 starts here at Comerica, 187 as a Tiger. Regular season at least.
There's a strike. Lugo getting his first start against Verlander, just 23 years old. 11 for 38 now as a major leaguer, and he swings at that pitch. It's 3-2. Verlander with that 5th strikeout, also not only setting a franchise record for the Astros, but passed David Cone for 23rd place on the all-time strikeout list. And he picks up another strikeout, down 3-0 in the count. He picks up strikeout number 6. That's 9 in a row set down by Verlander. Video presentation here at Comerica Park before the game. Here's Jacoby Jones. Jones takes a called strike. Breaks open the curveball for strike 2, and it's 0-2. Verlander and Cole now have combined for 505 strikeouts on the season. Mike Scott and Nolan Ryan had the old record at 503 in the 1987 year. Most strikeouts by teammates in 1 year in franchise history. And add another to that total. Verlander strikes out the last 2 in the inning. He has 7 in the game, and he's retired 10 in a row.
TXU Energy. And Comerica Ballpark means something to Evan Gattis also. Since 2015, right here in Detroit, 344 batting average and the OPS over 1,000. And that's saying something. This place, you got to stroke it pretty good to get it out of this ballpark to left field. But Evan Gattis is pretty comfortable here and has plenty of power to leave this yard.
Gattis getting his start tonight against the left-hander Francisco Liriano. He has walked and flied out to left. Got Astros and Tigers here at Comerica Park, and just a few blocks away at Ford Field, the Lions are playing the New York Jets as part of a Monday Night Football doubleheader. Yesterday, the Houston Texans kicked off their season just a few miles away from where the Red Sox and Astros played baseball later on that night. Fun to watch how many Houston fans were in the city of Boston for that entire weekend.
Yeah, you really can't say enough about the Astro fans in that environment. Very impressive.
Boston fans were impressed, albeit probably frustrated with the success the Astros had for most of that series. Gaddis goes down on 3 pitches. That's 7 strikeouts for Liriano, 1 off of his season high. Struck out 8 White Sox back on May 26th. He has struck out 7 tonight. One other game he struck out 7. That was against the Orioles on April 17th. Here's Martin Maldonado with a called strike. Maldonado lined out on a nice play his first time up, also grounded out. Both plays made by Jeimer Candelario. On the ground towards short, Ronnie Rodriguez makes the play for out number 2.
Celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month with the Astros this Friday through Sunday. Hispanic Heritage Weekend presented by Fiesta features street festivals, special pregame ceremonies, and more. For more info, visit astros.com/Hispanic Heritage.
Here's Jake. Liriano has 2 of his 7 strikeouts facing Marisnik tonight. Jake around the bunt, bunts it back to the mound. Liriano makes the play, and that'll do it for the Astros in the 6th inning. A 1-2-3 6th as we head to the bottom half with the Astros leading 3-1. By Nissan, here are tonight's clues. Who am I? 8 is enough. 21 Club, it's time. If you know, send your guesses to @ATT Sportsnet SW. We enter the bottom half of the 6th inning. Jeimer Candelario has struck out twice against Justin Verlander. He will lead things off. Verlander, first time through the lineup, gave up 4 hits. And 2 other batters hit the ball hard into outs. Second time through the lineup, he gave up no hits. He struck out 5. And nobody really hit the ball hard second time through the lineup. So we start the 6th inning, 3rd time through the lineup. Verlander has retired 10 in a row. And he misses with the first one to Candelario. Last time Verlander pitched on this mound, August 20th, 2017. He went 8 innings of 2-hit baseball against the Dodgers in his final start as a Tiger at home. Allowed 1 run in that game. in this game. Gave up 4 hits of the first 8 batters he has faced, but has settled in since. 2-0 pitch is pop foul, out of play. Only 65 pitches into this game for Verlander, 50 of them strikes.
And last season was really a tale of 2 seasons for Justin Verlander. His post All-Star break numbers were incredible. 10-2, 1.95 ERA, and that's what made him really appealing to the Houston Astros.
He got better as the season went along, and I think there was a big adrenaline boost once he went to a contending team too.
Absolutely.
He was lights out his final 5 regular season starts, and then carried that into the postseason when he won the American League Championship MVP. 3-1 pitch is upstairs. He walks Candelario. That is the first walk issued by Verlander. And a leadoff base runner for the Tigers.
I don't believe that was a terrible pitch. MD Anderson's going to give us a better idea. Just a little bit up out of the zone. According to Brian Knight, home plate umpire this evening here in Detroit. But yeah, as much as Justin has been getting in the zone, 50 strikes out of the 67 pitches. First walk here in the 6th inning.
Here's Kristen Stewart. Stewart is lined out to center field and struck out looking. Takes a called strike here. Stewart, 24 years old. A lot of hopes on this kid as he makes his first major league start, playing left field tonight.
Thought it was pretty funny to hear the questions from the media here in Detroit for Ron Gardenhire about starting Kristen Stewart against Justin Verlander. How can you do that to a young man? I'll tell you how you can do it. It's the big leagues. Can't go through your career picking and choosing who you're going to face out there. There's going to be aces on some nights. There's going to be 5th starters on other nights. But Ron Gardenhire basically said, can't protect this kid. I wasn't protected when I got called up and made my first start. Ron Gardenhire's first start was against Nolan Ryan.
There you go.
You're not going to get much sympathy from a guy who had to do that in his first ball game.
Well, tomorrow's a lefty, Framber Valdez, and obviously this kid's a left-handed hitter. At what point do you want to wait? Do you want to wait till the day game on Wednesday, or just say, you know what, here's one of the best pitchers you'll ever face, see what happens?
But I also think it's a calculated risk too, because Justin Verlander throws 65–75% fastballs, and usually young hitters can hit the fastball pretty good.
On the ground, past Altuve into right field. Over to third goes Candelario, and Altuve a little slow to get up.
That is not a good look from Jose Altuve right now. There was a slide into home plate last night, the controversial slide on that infield ground ball, where he got up a little gingerly. And this one right here, he does the same thing, going down on that left knee, it looks like.
They're going to come out and look at Altuve here.
They gave that a hit, correct?
Yep.
First big league hit for Kristen Stewart.
There you go. Altuve coming home on that controversial play last night with a head-first slide. And as soon as he went down, you could see him in pain. The glove came off the hand, and he was limping around.
He's going to ask to stay in, but I'm not sure you can leave him in. I think Jeremiah Randall's making the right choice, saying it's only going to get worse, or if you're playing with limited range, it's really not going to help the team.
Well, he's going to stay in, and last night a head-first slide into home plate. This is the play that a lot of Astros fans don't want to see replayed because the replay was wrong.
He really slid down on that left knee as he went through there. And of course, we know what the actual result was. It wasn't called on the field. I got so many people tweeting pictures from their home TVs that showed clearance between the glove and Jose Altuve with the hand on the plate that really makes you question the replay review system as a whole.
Yeah, that was a disappointing call stance for sure, for a lot of reasons. It was a huge play in the game. Astros could have taken the lead there, and who knows how it plays out at that point. But the Astros have had a couple of calls that have not gone their way this year that stand out now with a 2.5 game lead over the Oakland A's. One was against Oakland when Ramon Laureano scored off a double by Nick Martini off the right field wall. And there's the freeze frame from last night. Josh Reddick with a little sarcasm dripping.
Good for him.
Castellanos misses the next pitch from Verlander. It's 1-1.
And I thought AJ had some quotes that were good. You know, it maybe didn't dictate the outcome of the game, but in that situation, maybe things move along a little bit differently and increase the chances or the win probability for the Houston Astros. But it's just severely disappointing when you don't get an answer that you like or an explanation that you like.
Ball hit hard to center field. Jake is there, tagging at third, and scoring will be Candelario. It's now a 1-run game. Castellanos hits the ball hard for a sac fly.
Well, guys, what you were just talking about, we just saw Josh Reddick's tweet about what happened last night, and he wasn't the only one that was very vocal about this. It was a big discussion as the team traveled overnight. We're watching the replays on the team plane, and AJ Hinch said today they're mad, they're upset, and they're going to be vocal about it, but we have to move on. There's nothing we can do about it now, and obviously have to turn our attention to the Detroit Tigers pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's not something you want to have linger for, you know, more than maybe the plane ride last night when they were frustrated, because there's nothing you can do about it.
No, you can't. And you got to play the next day. You got a whole new ball club, a whole new situation, and you can only control what is in front of you, not what's behind you.
The thing that, you know, as an Astros broadcaster, obviously we see it a little bit skewed because we always want it to be in the Astros' favor. But I think throughout the year, the only call that we have gotten wrong in terms of guessing what the replay was going to be was in Oakland.
Yeah.
When they overturned that, saying Ramon Laureano was safe. And there's no way you could have had the same umpiring crew rule that guy safe and then also say there was not enough evidence to overturn last night's play at home plate. And my point being, it really is a little bit of an arbitrary situation when you have those decisions made by different umpiring crews with those two plays in mind.
Yep.
So frustrating night for the Astros.
And that's two opportunities for the Astros. And like you said, we watch a lot of Astros baseball. I'm sure each ball club could go through the course of the season to say the same thing. They've had 2 or 3 calls go against your hometown ball club, you know, if you're watching us from a different team. So it's not just the Houston Astros. I think it's just a little magnified and maybe brings a little more attention because it was on that, you know, that national stage. And there's already the controversy about the laces. That has been removed. It has nothing to do with the laces. You actually have to physically contact the player with your glove. But it's just amazing to me that I trust a fan's DVR screenshot as opposed to Major League Baseball review. That's incredible to me.
Yeah, that MLB Central Review Room has huge monitors throughout it. I've had a chance to visit it through the years, and you have too. There's just it's hard to imagine them looking at that and determining that there was not enough to overturn that last night, because as you said, a fan can send you a screenshot of their TV at home that looks like it's clear and convincing evidence. Well, hopefully the right knee's okay for Altuve, but we've seen 2 instances the last couple of games, last night sliding home and tonight on that ground ball, where he has not looked very comfortable after those plays. Victor Martinez goes down swinging. Verlander picks up strikeout number 8, and that's the second out of the 6th inning.
Go behind the scenes at Minute Maid Park with the Astros Ballpark Tour and check out areas like the TK booth, press box, dugout, scoreboard, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today. That being the broadcast booth.
Thank you. I think 6 innings might be enough for Francisco Liriano tonight. They've had bullpen action going the entire inning. Liriano only allowed 4 hits and 3 unearned runs. But Drew Verhagen has been warming the entire inning, so he's ready to go when called upon. Nico Goodrum, the batter. Swings through the Verlander fastball. It's 1-1.
The elevated fastball has been effective for Justin. It's also that 12-6 breaking ball we've seen be highly effective. Getting a strikeout of a very good hitter previously in Victor Martinez.
Opening walk hurting Justin this inning. Jeimer Candelario coming around to score. Verlander's only allowed 1 hit since the 2nd inning. Upstairs is 2-1. Justin has struck out 8 Tigers after striking out a dozen in his first matchup against his former team. In that game, he lasted 6 innings but gave up 6 runs, 5 earned. Two and two. Goodrum had one of those home runs against Verlander in that 4 home run game. John Hicks, Jim Adducci, and Jeimer Candelario the others. Kristen Stewart on first base with 2 outs. Stewart with his first major league hit coming against Justin Verlander. Now the count's 3-2, so Stewart will get a head start with 2 outs.
Plenty of life on that fastball still for Justin. 85th pitch at 96.
Well, they're seeing a guy at 35 years old who they watched grow up from the time he was drafted out of Old Dominion until he was traded last year on the final day of August. Who is throwing every bit as hard as he did at any point of his Tigers career. Maybe a little bit of higher octane when he first came up, but his NL or his AL Cy Young MVP seasons till now, same fastball velocity. Alex Bregman on the high pop up puts it away for the final out of the 6th inning. A run scores. It's now 3-2 Astros.
is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. This weekend, the Detroit Tigers honoring the 1968 Detroit Tigers team who won the World Series, and Denny McLain was a very good pitcher on that ball club that season. That record is right. That's not number of starts. He actually had 31 wins and 6 losses and accomplished that in 336 innings pitched. In that time, had a 1.96 ERA and strikeout all-time leaders for the Detroit Tigers. Mickey Lolich on top. Guess who's right behind him? Justin Verlander in those 13 years had 2,373. Other good names on there: Jack Morris, Hal Newhouser, Tommy Bridges. Max Scherzer even making the list in that 11th spot. But Denny McLain had some silly numbers. In that 68 season, 28 complete games out of 41 starts.
The old 4-man rotation right there.
Yeah, that's getting it done.
41 starts, 28 CGs. No complete game tonight for Francisco Liriano. He goes 6, and they turn it over to Drew Verhagen. I don't think the Astros are all that disappointed Liriano's out of the game. They didn't hit him very hard despite scoring 3 runs against him, as Springer grounds out to start this inning.
Some of the numbers on Drew. 35th appearance this season. He has thrown in 50 innings. 47 strikeouts in those 50. Been good since August 15th. Averaging 94 miles an hour on his fastball. 4-pitch pitcher, has a changeup, curveball, and a slider.
Face Jose Altuve here, who bunted for a hit his last time up, and Altuve grounds 1 foul. Altuve, who had that right knee soreness that put him on the DL, missed 21 games, was looked at after that last half inning, and he has convinced A.J. Hinch and Jeremiah Randall, the head athletic trainer, that he is good to go. But that might be something that every once in a while you have to deal with if you're Altuve. George Springer probably the same with that thumb injury. Those guys coming back for the stretch run, and every now and again you see that injury with some grimacing from George, and seen Altuve limping a little bit earlier tonight.
Yeah, you just hope it's manageable, because you can play with pain, but you can't play hurt. Sometimes those things linger a little bit, but it's good to see these guys bouncing back relatively quickly after some grimacing or some uncomfortability. I don't want to use the other word.
3-1. Well, Altuve reaching last night with a couple of hits and a home run, his second home run since coming off the DL. Astros are 14-4 since Altuve's come off the DL. Now, it hasn't been vintage Altuve at the plate, but just having him around and active, the Astros have played a better brand of baseball with him in the lineup. Altuve checking with Brian Knight to see if that 3-1 pitch would have been called a strike. 4 hits tonight for the Astros. And to be honest, not one of them was very well hit. Bunt hit, ground ball through the middle, infield single Correa, bloop hit by Marwin. Liriano walked 4, allowed 3 runs, none earned, struck out 7. It's a little pop up on the infield. Ronnie Rodriguez is there and puts it away for out number 2. That'll bring up Alex Bregman. Bregman has walked, hit into a fielder's choice, and flied out to right. And a strike called. Bregman does have a career home run against Verhagen, only one in the Astros roster with a home run against him. But he's down on the count here, 0-2. Alex, one double shy of 50 doubles on the year to go along with 30 home runs.
And that note today said that 22 players have done that.
Ever.
And if he gets to the 100 RBI plateau, only 18 players have done that in Major League history.
He's getting some notice around the league. He keeps moving up and up on the charts. Just shy of 100 RBIs and 100 runs scored on the season as well. And all these numbers are being compiled without the monster years around him. Last year, this is a team that led Major League Baseball in runs scored as you look at the last of the 30 home run, 50 double seasons.
Albert on there twice, but he was the last one to do it back in 2012. Man, some good hitters. Matt Holliday, Derek Lee.
Ball blooped into right field, but Castellanos comes in and makes the catch for the final out of the inning. A 1-2-3 7th for Drew Verhagen. 7th inning stretch time at Comerica Park, and we're going to send it to Kevin Eschenfelder and Mike Stanton in our Rooms to Go lounge. Here are tonight's clues. Who am I? 8 is enough. 21 club. And it's, in parentheses, time.
Oh, yeah.
Lima time.
You knew it.
8-player trade acquired from the Tigers. 4th in the National League Cy Young Award voting in 1999 and 21-10 that year. Lima time. Always a good time. On we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning. Justin Verlander facing Ronnie Rodriguez, who's 1 for 2 tonight. And JV starts him off with a strike. Verlander starts the inning with 86 pitches. You would think he would at least like to get through the 7th and see where things are, and they'll figure out whether or not he might come out for the 8th or not. But a 1-run game, not a lot of wiggle room right now for Verlander. And he's ahead of Rodriguez 0-2. 8 strikeouts tonight for Justin. He has struck out at least 1 in every inning. And a little pop fly into center field. Jake Marisnick is there right in the middle of that 1968 logo that was present for the weekend series. And that is out number 1. Throughout the weekend, they had special presentations, and Saturday was the big day here in honor of the 50-year anniversary of the 1968 World Champions. They did it over the weekend because the Cardinals were in town, and that's who they beat in that 7-game World Series in '68.
Pretty solid representation.
50 years, a long stretch of memories for those guys, but you're right, a lot of them did show up and were honored here over the weekend. Mickey Lolich and Denny McLain started 6 of those 7 games in the World Series. Well, James McCann, who has caught Verlander 57 times in his career but has never faced him as a hitter, singles into left field. Only Alex Avila, Pudge Rodriguez, and Gerald Laird with more games caught in Verlander starts than McCann. Here's Dewell Lugo. Lugo with an RBI to start his first at bat. He gave the Tigers a 1-0 lead in the second inning. Justin, a breaking ball for a strike. Lugo made his big league debut against the New York Yankees at Yankee Stadium. Started out red hot, but he's now 1 for his last 13 after starting out 10 for his first 26. Yes. Checks his swing. It's 1-1. Last year, when the Arizona Diamondbacks acquired J.D. Martinez in that July trade, Lugo was one of the 3 players the Tigers acquired in that 3-for-1 deal. Ryan Presley starts to warm up in the Astros bullpen. 2-2 the count. On the ground towards third, scoop by Bregman on the short hop. The throw gets by Altuve into right field. No further advancement from the Tigers. That could have been a double play. Instead, it's first and second.
I don't know if you saw that, but you see Altuve hit his chest. Kind of that was on me. I don't think that knee obviously is 100%. That wasn't a terrible throw by Alex Bregman. It was a heck of a pick on the short hop. But throwing on the run a little bit short, but you can see that Altuve just kind of buckles. It's a tough error.
Gave it to Alex, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's got to be caught. I know he's not feeling 100%. The throw's low, but that's a ball in the air at his knees. That may not be able to make the turn, but that's a ball that has to be caught.
Yeah, I agree.
But Bregman gets the error, first and second. And now Verlander faces the number 9 hitter, Jacoby Jones. Jones grounds foul down the third baseline.
Well, Jacoby was ready for that breaking ball. He's had a tough time with that curveball today. We had that line into a double play earlier in the game, but that second AB for him was basically all curveballs, putting him away.
Tying and go-ahead runs on base for the Tigers. Verlander now approaching 100 pitches. Swing and a miss at the 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, but a good adjustment by Maldonado and JV to get on the same page and realize that Jones got a pretty good swing on that curveball. Raced the fastball by him.
.24 pitch 6. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Jones for the second straight time. That's 9 strikeouts for Verlander in the game. And the second out here in the 7th inning. The Astros Foundation invites you to join the Volunteer Corps to take part in various volunteer opportunities, including game day activities at the ballpark, craft parties at local hospitals, and much more. For more info and to sign up, visit astros.com/volunteer. Justin Verlander knows that 100 pitches about to be made, that this is possibly his last inning. And also possibly his last batter, with Ryan Presley warming up. Verlander's thrown a lot of sliders tonight. Of his 99 pitches, 30 sliders.
Pretty nice rig that Cionel Perez has back there. Is he going to be able to break that out? All flamed up and ready to go. White walls.
That's a pretty sharp little bullpen cart right there.
Yeah, it is. You expect that up here in the Motor City, though, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Verlander ahead 0-1 on Candelario. Check swing, foul ball, and now Justin ahead 0-2. 2 of JV's 3 highest velocity fastballs tonight have come in this inning. Fastball to Jacoby Jones for a swinging strike. In fact, 2 fastballs in that sequence to Jones were 2 of the 3 fastest pitch he's thrown tonight.
Yeah, 98 to put him away.
Well, he can smell the finish line here ahead of the count 0-2 on Candelario, who has struck out twice and also walked.
You do kind of have to appreciate Justin Verlander. He kind of has a flair for wanting to go out throwing the high heat, bringing a little noise, but he also has had a devastating curveball today.
There is that breaking ball smothered by Maldonado.
It was a great stop.
Maldonado is so good at blocking pitches that gives pitchers the confidence to throw a pitch like this.
Yeah, but having it break that far out in front of home plate and still have it within reach was pretty good.
Again blocked. Just off the bag at first base was Lugo, and Maldonado scared him a little bit, but there was nobody covering at the time.
Yeah, Lugo was getting a little frisky trying to figure out what McCann was going to do at second base. Yeah, Lugo had intentions of going.
Verlander has had 9 double-digit strikeout games, 6 since July. And he gets his 10th tonight. Justin Verlander strikes out Candelario to end the 7th. And he leaves with a 3-2 lead after 7 and a standing ovation from the Comerica Park fans who are watching him as a visitor for the first time.
One Astros app. Customize your experience with home screen icons and features such as the MLB.TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, and more. Download MLB app today. TK?
All right, Julia, on we go to the 8th inning. Astros hanging on to a 3-2 lead. Justin Verlander had to work around an error in the last inning and finished off strong with his 10th strikeout of the game. And now the Astros will face their third pitcher of the game, the second reliever, Alex Wilson.
Going to see a lot of sliders from Alex Wilson, averaging 92 miles an hour on his fastball. But when he's facing right-handed hitters, it is right around 36% fastball, 59% slider.
The Shark with a 1-0 count. Tyler White leads things off and gets a fastball and fouls it away.
Some of the standards on Alex Wilson: 53 appearances, only 39 strikeouts. Been good since August 22nd.
Astros have not done a lot offensively in this game. They were able to score 3 unearned runs against Francisco Liriano in the 3rd inning. But other than that, they really haven't put anything together. They had a bunt hit and a walk in the 5th. Liriano walked a batter in the 1st and the 2nd innings as well. But 8 in a row retired by Liriano and Verhagen starting this inning. There is a base hit into right field. Tyler White on for the 3rd time tonight. 2 singles and a walk. Shark doesn't need much sleep, I guess. And he's going to get lifted for a pinch runner here as Josh Reddick will be out to run for Tyler White. Nice game again for Great White Shark.
Consistency is a key, and he has gotten some good slugging numbers, but at the same time, good job with 2 strikes, just going the other way, taking what's available to him.
Here's Carlos Correa with an infield hit in 3 at bats. He's also struck out twice. Inside to Carlos, it's 1-0. Well, White came out of that series against Boston going 4 for 10 with 4 RBIs. That was a big series for him, probably the biggest spotlight series he's been involved with. And he helped be right in the middle of that Astros offense that won 2 out of 3 games and almost swept the Red Sox. And tonight, a game that he and the offense didn't give a ton of support to Justin Verlander. Verlander able to work through 7 innings of 2-run baseball tonight. Three and 0 to Carlos.
Green light him. 3-0, fastball count, big ballpark. You would figure that Wilson's going to challenge him. This is where I'd like to see Carlos. He talks about how he likes to drive the ball to the opposite field and really feels that's a strength. This could be a spot for it.
Strike at the knees. It's 3-1. Big gaps here at Comerica Park. If he drives one towards that out-of-town scoreboard in right center, he could have a triple and an RBI.
That was the swing. Got a good pitch to try and do it on, too.
Double barrel action. Daniel Stumpf is the lefty. Victor Alcantara the righty. Runner on the move. Ground ball to third. Reddick will be safe at second and Correa out at first. Reddick good hustle to get into second base. Tigers may want to take a look at this, but for now, Josh is safe.
Well, you know what's interesting to me, and the fact that they are going to try and take a look at this, it's almost a, almost a strategic move to throw the ball to second base, because what if the umpires freakishly overturn a slide rule? That idiotic rule that they have where you can't take out the guy at second base, or you can't interfere. So not a terrible effort, but that was great hustle by Josh Reddick to beat that out. They're not going to challenge it.
Good call by the crew chief, Jerry Davis, at second base. Yeah, there's two things at play. Number one, you could get a weird, call on the slide. And number two, you can't blow up the infielder anyhow.
Yeah, so he's got a clean path to throw. That's another excellent point. And that's probably a better point, because as an infielder who fields the ground ball, sometimes you worry about, am I going to lay this guy out to dry? Is he going to get hung up and get smoked? So it might change your mindset a little bit and say, well, the runner was running. I don't think I'm going to get him. And if I do throw it, he's going to get destroyed. So I'm just going to take the easy out at first base. It's a great point.
Now, instead of a double play, they get safe at second with the Reddick hustle, and Carlos out at first. Marwin with a count of 0-1.
I feel like recently with runners on first base, we've seen AJ, when he's had 3-2 counts or possible action counts where he's put the runner in motion to try and stay out of that double play situation, and saying, instead of rolling over and hitting into a ground ball double play, he's going to force these guys to do the strike him out, throw him out, kind of change up the easy double play, so to speak.
Yeah, he already knows his team's probably going to set the franchise mark. He just doesn't want to set the major league mark.
You don't want to write it in the big book, just write it in the little book.
Yeah. Double plays have been an issue all year long. Marwin, high fly ball deep to right field, sending Castellanos back. He's on the track. He's at the wall, and he leaps and makes the catch. Tagging and heading to third is Josh Reddick. Nice play by Castellanos, as Marwin just came about a foot or two from a home run.
Marwin just missed that pitch. Did a good job of keeping that front side closed for a very long time on a pitch inside. Leaned back on it, but he knew he just missed it. It almost got out of here.
Ooh, oh, right on the yellow line.
Yeah, that ball had a lot more carry than I think I bet Marwin thought it did.
Yeah, Marwin almost went from slamming the bat to a home run trot.
Oh man, I've got 445 brain right now.
Here's Evan Gaddis.
Trying to get my brain and my mouth to sync up. Castellanos, yeah, you're right. Got up there pretty good.
That would have been quite a reaction to a home run swing.
Usually you see those at Wrigley Field where you pop it up and it catches a jet stream. You're like, hey.
On the ground to short. Two big hops for Rodriguez, who makes the play. Alex Wilson works around an opening hit. We're heading to the bottom of the eighth. It's 3-2. Justin Verlander in his first game back to Comerica Park as a visiting pitcher, and he was very good tonight.
Yes, it was, and we saw a very good breaking ball this evening from Justin Verlander. Of course, we saw plenty of fastballs touching 98 the last couple of innings, but it was a very good mix of pitches. Actually saw a couple of good sliders in there too. So often we've seen him be heavy on the fastball, but he got ahead early with some of the off-speed pitches and eventually put Detroit Tiger hitters away with that fastball. Tip of the cap. 2 starts against the Tigers this season, 22 strikeouts.
Another double-digit strikeout performance for Verlander, who has had 7 of those since the beginning of July and 10 on the season. As he turns the ball over here with a 3-2 lead, not much of a margin. The Astros scoring 3 unearned runs back in the 3rd inning, and that's it. And now Ryan Pressly takes over.
Ryan Pressly been a workhorse out of that bullpen for both the Twins and A.J. Hinch since being traded over to the Houston Astros. This will be his 70th appearance. In that time, he has racked up 92 strikeouts, power fastball, curveball, and slider.
Kristen Stewart will be the first one that faces him and takes a pitch down low for ball 1. Stewart had his first major league hit his last time up, a single. He will always remember that one. Now has Justin Verlander as the opposing pitcher in his first big league hit. That one's at the knees for a strike. It's 1-1. Tigers out hitting the Astros 6-5. Foul back, it's 1-2. Pressly will face Stewart, Nick Castellanos, and Victor Martinez. Swing and a miss. Pressly on the breaking ball gets Stewart. Maldonado throws to first to complete the play where the new first baseman Marwin Gonzalez is. Marwin moving from left to right, they're left to first base this inning. Josh Reddick, who came on as a pinch hitter, a pinch runner, moves to left.
You know what's interesting, as you see where the location of those pitches are, and on our matches from Supermo, that's that slider release from Ryan Pressly. That was 3 or 4 pitches in the same spot, a couple of fastballs, and then breaking ball slider. That's pretty impressive to be able to locate all those pitches in one spot low in the zone. Creates issues for the hitter trying to figure out what it is.
Well, he has been impressive since becoming an Astro. He walked his first batter in a Houston uniform in that Boston series. But that was a rarity for him because all he's been doing is striking out guys and not walking anybody since joining the Astros. And being a part of the AL Central, you saw the numbers against Castellanos. Nicholas has struggled against Pressly as they have faced each other 10 times. Pressly with Houston, 1 walk and now 24 strikeouts. Castellanos a double, a sacrifice fly, and he's also flied out to right, 1 for 2. Slowly hit towards short. Correa charges and can't find the handle. And Castellanos will reach with 1 out. Be an infield single for Nicholas Castellanos.
A couple of errors in this ball game for the Houston Astros. Carlos going down. Seemed to get it in the glove okay, but it's the exchange where things go a little awry. Putting some extra pitches on Justin Verlander with that error from Alex Bregman, and now a couple more pitches for Ryan Presley to try and get out of this.
Here's Victor 0 for 3. And he sends one into left field. Josh Reddick makes the play at his ankles and gets the ball back in quickly. Correa's throw out at first base, a double play. A pick by Marwin Gonzalez. A catch by Reddick, and they get Castellanos straying too far off first.
Tigers have to be checking this one out. Reddick with another play fighting through the lights, but it looks like a catch from that angle. It's tough to see. That is an incredibly hard read for the base runner, because the base runner is trying to react to the play and then trying to react to the reaction of the umpire. So I give Josh Reddick a lot of credit for rolling over and getting that ball in quickly to enable the possibility even for a double play.
Great pick by Marwin on that strong throw on the relay by Correa that was in the dirt.
How about the stretch from Marwin too?
Marwin taking over this inning. Tyler White had been playing first base, and I think that's going to end the inning. Ron's going to go out and argue, but it's 3-2 Astros heading to the ninth.
Thanks for participating in our poll. As always, we're on Twitter at ATT Sportsnet SW, and we were asking which milestone the Astros are either approaching or they've already achieved would be the most impressive to you. And 53% of the vote goes to Alex Bregman tonight, who is so close to that 30 homer, 50 doubles, 100 RBI totals. So close. Guys?
Yeah, it could happen on this road trip before the Astros head back home, as Bregman continues to win almost every stroke poll he's in lately. Joe Jimenez takes over as a new pitcher for the Tigers in the ninth inning.
Large right-handed pitcher wearing the number 77 for the Detroit Tigers. Throws pretty hard. Throws the hardest out of that bullpen, averaging 95.7 miles an hour on his fastball. Has a changeup and a slider. 68 strikeouts in 57 innings.
He'll face Martin Maldonado to start the ninth. And he swings to the first pitch and pops one up. Foul territory. The catcher, James McCann, overruns it, and it lands for a strike. That will not be charged as an error. It's just a no play on that foul ball.
I was concerned we were going to have another Yuli incident. Little aggressive getting to the wall, and I don't think that ball was hit high enough to really find the wall and then get to the baseball. But new life.
Maldonado looking for his first hit. Martinez 0 for 3. And down to the count here, 0-2. It'll be Maldonado, Jake Marisnick, and then the top of the order, George Springer. Astros offense has been a little bit silent tonight. Tyler White, a couple of hits and a walk. All 5 hits have been singles tonight as Maldonado goes down swinging. First strikeout for Jimenez in the first out of the ninth. The end of the 8th, Josh Reddick started a double play.
Ball was well struck by Victor Martinez, but that low line drive getting in the lights caused Josh to go down and make a tough catch, but the relay and the double play really benefiting the Astros.
Castellanos completely fooled on that play. And I think the reason Gardenhire was arguing, now that I watched that replay, there really wasn't a signal from the second base umpire, Jerry Davis. So Castellanos, after he saw that ball go down, didn't see a signal, and he was on his own.
I saw the third base umpire with a hand in the air. That's who I was watching.
Okay.
Because I did not go to umpiring school. But watch the second base umpire holds his ground. The third base umpire goes out for a better look and raises his hand.
Well, that's after.
That's a tough call late. It almost looked as if he was looking to Jerry Davis for a little bit of help.
And at that point, Castellanos had stopped, started to second after he saw the ball might be loose, and he had no chance to get back. Jake grounds out to second, and that's now it's up to George Springer with 2 outs. Called strike. George 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. Roberto Osuna warming up in the Astros bullpen. He will get the 9th, it appears. One of those games tonight where sometimes you have to win games when you don't play your best brand of baseball. And tonight has not been the Astros' best brand of baseball. Offensively, defensively. Got good pitching out of Justin and then Ryan Presley, but it has not been their best effort that we've seen this year.
No, if they're able to scratch out this win, they will be perfectly happy about it, because the disappointment in the call last night, end up losing that game on a walk-off, and then the lack of sleep. They come away with a W, no matter what it looks like, they're going to be pretty happy about it, especially when it pops on the record that it's their 90th win if they get it tonight. This week on Bases Loaded, Justin Verlander reflects on his first year as an Astro. I get a chance to talk to A.J. Hinch about the state of the Astros after his contract extension. All that and more on Bases Loaded after the postgame show, only on AT&T Sportsnet.
George fouls one back. George looking for his first hit tonight. 5 hits in the game. Tyler White 2, Carlos Correa an infield hit, Marwin Gonzalez a bloop hit, Jose Altuve a bunt hit. Swing and a foul. George just stays alive. Tigers will have their 5, 6, and 7 hitters due up in the 9th inning. Nico Goodrum, Ronnie Rodriguez, and James McCann to face Roberto Osuna. Astros fans here at Comerica Park, a little tougher to pick them out here at Detroit. And a swing and a miss. McCann will make the toss down to first, and Springer will strike out to end the inning. So we head to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Astros lead 3-2. Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Arctic. Overbuilt, not overpriced. Monday Night Baseball from the Motor City in Detroit. Astros and Tigers have a 3-2 contest going, and Roberto Osuna comes on for the bottom half of the 9th inning.
Last time Roberto was out there on the 8th, back in Boston. Picked up his 15th save, throwing 15 pitches on the season. He has 15 of 16 in those save opportunities. ERA at 2.59, 28 strikeouts in 31 1/3 innings pitched. He is 6 for 6 with the Astros.
Well, he'll face the switch-hitting Nico Goodrum and then a pinch hitter for Ronnie Rodriguez as Jim Ducey has the bat and he's on deck. First pitch is dropped by Maldonado, but it was a strike. Goodrum has doubled and scored a run in 3 at-bats. He's also flied out to deep right field and popped up to third. His power this year has been from the left side. He has 15 of his 16 home runs. It's a left-hand hitter. One and one the count. Osuna on after Ryan Presley got through the 8th. Justin Verlander, 7 innings of work tonight against his former team with 10 strikeouts. Osuna ahead, 1-2. Chopper towards first. Marwin flips to Osuna just ahead of Goodrum for the first out in the 9th. The Astros take on the Arizona Diamondbacks this Saturday, and 10,000 fans in attendance will receive a Carlos Correa replica orange jersey presented by HEB. For tickets and info, visit astros.com/promotions. Astros with the day off on Thursday after this series. They'll be back for the weekend against Arizona as part of their final homestand of the year, a 9-gamer. Before heading out on their final 7 games on the road. After tonight, 18 games remain, 9 on the road and 9 at home. Here's Jim Ducey pinch hitting for Ronnie Rodriguez. Takes a pitch for a ball. A lot of pinch hit appearances for Ducey this year. Misses the fastball. It's 1-1. AJ Hinch always checking that lineup card, especially in September. A lot of options with the expanded rosters. Slowly hit towards short. Correa will barehand and throw in time. Carlos Correa with the barehand pick, getting a Ducey for out number 2 in the 9th.
What a play. Does a great job of getting himself in position to make the pick and throw. It was nicely done. Nice on the short hop. Easy to anticipate where that baseball is going to be when you pick it up on the short hop, but get the velocity behind it like that was very impressive. Good stretch by Marwin too.
What a season of defense Carlos Correa has played. By far the best we have seen in his young career. 5 errors on the whole year. He's currently 3rd all-time in Astros history in fielding percentage as a shortstop. And he has made some spectacular plays throughout the year, including that one. Now the Tigers down to their final out. James McCann will bat with 2 outs and the base is empty. Slowly hit towards first. Marwin waits. He will take it himself, and that's a victory for the Astros. A 3-2 win, coming off winning 2 out of 3 in Boston. The Astros only managed 5 singles tonight, but scored 3 unearned runs in the 3rd inning. And they win this opener of a 3-game series. Justin Verlander, returning to Detroit, gets the victory, his 203rd of his career. Roberto Osuna the save, and we will have more after this victory in Motown. The Astros 3 and the Tigers 2.